Hello everyone, welcome to Bharat DNS, the one and only secure DNS filtering service completely made in India. Let me give you a walkthrough on how to use Bharat DNS filtering service. Before we start, I want to tell you that Bharat DNS uses machine learning and threat intelligence to filter out the malicious DNS which can be occurred while web browsing and other activities. To use the project, we will run some simple commands. First, we will move on to the GitHub repository of Bharat DNS created by Sarthak. Let's just copy the GitHub repository and paste it in your terminal. For me, let me just move to the download folder, and here I will clone the GitHub repository using git clone command. Let the repository clone. Now I have installed the GitHub repository for Bharat DNS. Let me just move into Bharat DNS. As you can see, the files are listed right here. If you want to know what are the specific configurations for the file, you can just open the pip file. For here, let me just show you in the terminal. So here is the configuration for the Bharat DNS project. It specifies that we must use Python version 3.11, and here are the specific modules which we need to install. So to install these modules, we can see that we are also given with the requirements.txt. This requirement.txt consists of the Python modules which need to be installed. Let's just see what is listed in there. You can see that all the modules with the specific versions are listed in requirements.txt. To install the modules, you can just use a simple command, which is pip install, give it a flag R, and specify requirements.txt. So it has installed all the modules. Since in my PC, all the modules were pre-installed, so it didn't take much time. But if you don't have TensorFlow or other modules, it might take quite some time. It is advised to use only Python 3.11 to install these modules, otherwise you may run into issues. Let's just clear the terminal. Now let's start and run the project. To run the project, you can simply enter the command python and then specify the Python version as 3.11 and run the file main.py. Now, in my case, I already have Python 3.11 installed as my default Python. If you don't have Python 3.11, then running this Python main.py will prompt you to install Python 3.11 and will automatically install the version. Then just enter this command python main.py. It is asking me for an email ID and password, which is supposed to be the superadmin email ID and password. Now, I already have registered test@dns.com as a superadmin in the database. Let me enter the password. Authentication is successful. It has loaded the machine learning server, and you can see the server has started on port 53. Now, let me just enter a few commands to show you how this works. If you are using a Mac machine then or a Linux machine, then the command is dig @ and I will specify my PC's address. So this server is currently running on my PC's IP address. So whatever your PC's IP address is, specify that in the dig command. Now since my server and my client are both on the same machine, I can write 0, 0, 0, 0, which will specify my own machine. If you are using a Windows machine, then writing 00 won't work. You have to clearly specify your IPv4 address and then enter your query. So your query could be any domain name server. Let's say I want to query google.com. Now you can see that I have received the dict query for google.com. It is giving me the IP of google.com 216 and it is also specifying the query time as 288 milliseconds. Here on the server side, you can see we have got google.com as the query and this google.com is whitelisted. Why it is whitelisted? Because there are some DNS which are identified to be genuine and thus we don't want to spend much time in checking them and then resolving. Now let me show you another query. Let's say I want to check um, abc.com. Yeah. So for the website abc.com, I've got this IP address 99.84.133.97. Here on the server side, you can see that we received abc.com as the query, which is not blacklisted. So blacklisted is that are those queries which are in hand of the network administrator, which they want to block. Next, since it is not blacklisted, now we need to apply the machine learning to check whether it is malicious or not. So abcd.com is a simple website, so it is not malicious. It does not have any DNS tunneling. Hence, it passes the machine learning test and we finally resolve it. And the data, this data is sent to the database. We are using Firebase at the database, which is used for network monitoring. Now, what if a query is actually malicious and how is the machine learning server able to detect it? For that, we just write a malicious query. Here I prepared one of it. This query is one of the malicious query which includes DNS tunneling. Let's just see what it goes through. As you can see, we have not received a IP address for it. It is saying 00, which is a dummy IP address, which means the connection has been blocked. Why? If we check this query we receive, and in this query, the machine learning model predicting malicious with probability 98%. So machine learning model is 98% confident that this is malicious and it has been blocked. Now, this is not just a terminal thing which I want to show you. uh, I want to show you the real power of it. Since we have already activated it on the 53 port, let me just show you a virtual machine. Here I am starting my virtual machine. This virtual machine will use my host machine port, which is 53, and will send DNS queries. So this is how it will look on the real time. Let me just log on to my virtual machine. So let me open Firefox. I've opened Firefox and you can see that I've started receiving so many queries and most of the queries are being fulfilled. Not just most, all of the queries are fulfilled because all are genuine and some are being checked. You can see IPv4 only.arpa. So it was not in the whitelist, hence it has been checked by machine learning model. It has been found genuine and then it is added to the whitelist. Now let's just try to visit a website. Let's say google.com. Here I am receiving a lot of queries which are being generated by my host machine. Now I have received google.com and here if I, oh yes. So our query name google.com was resolved successfully right here. Now let's just try and visit some website. Let's say netlify.com. netlify.com. So I want to visit netlify.com. I've received the query. The query has been resolved successfully and I'm connected to netlify.com. Now let me show you how it detects a malicious query. Let's say I want to visit a website which I tapped on mistakenly. It could be some gibberish dot netlify dot xyz. It could be like that, and when I hit enter, so yeah, it says it is unable to connect. Why? Here, if in a resolver when we see, so that malicious site has been detected, and our machine learning model is 87% confident that this is a malicious website. Hence, it has blocked it. So when it has blocked it, we cannot visit it. So this is how you get protected even if you mistakenly tap on a malicious URL.